Welcome to Fatigued But Not Forgotten. Once again, we're rival writers in a stalled elevator with you, a group of high-powered producers. We have 15 minutes before the elevator is repaired, and one of us is going to pitch you a movie, a long-needed sequel, prequel, remake, or remakequel to a movie that never got one. And the other person has a vested interest in shooting it down because we're rivals.
And he's a dick.
This is Fatigued But Not Forgotten. My name is Matt Reifschneider, and I am joined by my asshole friend and co-host, Sean Caylor. How are you doing tonight, Sean?
Dying of heat in this elevator, man.
I know, it's getting hot in here, and no, you cannot sing that song. I know what song you're thinking of, because we're the same age and that song was very popular. Anyway, we're stuck in this elevator. We're going to pitch you a movie tonight. You, the audience, are the judge, jury, and executioner of this movie. So tonight, I'm going to be the one that's pitching a movie. We will alternate every other week to pitch this movie, pitch this franchise, if you will. And we're going to make sure that you guys get to choose who wins this. So don't hesitate to, once this episode is done, go check us out on the social medias. Go vote for whatever you want. Let us know who you think should win, if this movie should get a franchise or not, because I'm really curious to see what we're going to do with this one tonight. And as always, since we're pitching a franchise, this does come with a spoiler warning for all of you out there, that more than likely I'm going to spoil whatever film we're talking about today. So just a forewarning to throw it out there. Do you have any problems with spoilers, Sean?
Boy, it depends on the movie, but and real truth, I don't know what he's picking. He never knows what I'm picking. I've definitely thrown a curveball or two his way already.
Yes, you did. Especially last episode with Wild Wild West. You made it super easy on me, and I intentionally picked this movie tonight to not make it easy on you, because I know you like this movie. So this is going to be a little bit hard for you to play devil's advocate on.
All right, well, with that, Repairman is on his way, and I think it is about time to set your timer, my friend.
All right, so just to clarify for the audience, I got 4 minutes, right?
Yep, you've got 4 minutes before I cut you off and spend my 4 minutes tearing your pitch asunder.
Okay, all right, so I got 4 minutes, you got 4 minutes. We're going to have a hot little debate, and then are we doing final statements tonight?
Oh, absolutely. After that, we're going to take a little breather and basically trash talk each other until one of us cries like a little baby. I'm going to guess you.
Sean. Sean's going to cry like a baby.
Watching ET all over again.
Yeah.
And
does it look like I'm watching a Godzilla movie? Will I cry? No.
And then I think we'd have about 2 minutes to close our arguments before the repairman gets his stuff going.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull up my information here, because I have prepared quite the nice little speech for you in terms of what I have. And trust me, I'm going to drown you with this one. So tell me when my clock has started.
And go.
All right. So, guys, I just want to say that I know 2020 has been a crazy year, and movie theaters being closed has been wild for all of us. But there is one film that I think really stood out this year that deserves a franchise, and that movie is Underwater. That's right. I think the Kristen Stewart vehicle that came out early this year in January, a much long delayed film, deserves to have its own franchise. Now, I know what you're saying, guys. I know what you're saying. You're thinking to yourselves, this guy's fucking nuts. That movie didn't even really do well. But hear me out. This is the franchise I want to pitch, because I think Underwater is the perfect vehicle for genre cinema fans. That you have this movie that sets up an entire world of interesting ideas that we can explore further. Even if you don't do it as Underwater per se, you can definitely explore what this has to say with this. First of all, you have a cast in this movie of a lot of interesting ideas. For a sequel, I would suggest not bringing any of them back. If you do, bring back maybe Harwick, who was one of the survivors at the end of this film, to launch off onto a new story around this world. At the end of Underwater, you are introduced to an entire mythological creature society, powered by the first film iteration of Cthulhu. Motherfucking Cthulhu. Can I say it again? Can I hear it? Let me hear it. Let me say it one more time. I want you to hear it in the back. Motherfucking Cthulhu, right? We have this H.P. Lovecraft world we can explore, and we have a giant mining corporation that we can use as a villain trying to exploit the powers of the great old ones. This leads you into a variety of different stories that you can tell, including perhaps there's an exploration group looking to do scientific discoveries on the monsters themselves down underwater. You don't have to replicate the entire disaster film mixed with horror film that the first one is. Just keep moving forward with it, and that way you have an understanding of what this world building can be like. Get a couple of young, large upcoming stars. Again, maybe grabbing some people from TV. You don't have to put a lot of money into it. You do have to put a little bit of money into the special effects. But I think if you get the right director, possibly bringing back William Eubank, who I think directed the shit out of this movie, bringing him back on and letting them kind of run with this great old one storyline, you can definitely deliver the goods. Genre fans will dig into it because this film has already found its cult audience. You don't have to spend a super amount of money onto it. You can definitely make it a mid-range budget film, drop it into theaters in January. Hope it does well. Maybe it won't have the TJ Miller curse that this one certainly did with a boycott on him. But I think Underwater could possibly be a sleeper hit for an entire franchise. And all you have to do is just really give it to the right creative hands, bring in a brand new cast, and just explore the world and not have to worry about making a direct sequel as much as just exploring this entire universe that's inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. And that's my motherfucking pitch. How much time do I got left?
30 seconds.
I don't even need 4 minutes. Here, you can have my 30 seconds. I'll give you 4.5 minutes. You're welcome. Here's the red carpet for you.
All right, well.
Gurgle, I'm watching you drown already.
I'm going to go ahead and hit start on this little thing again right here. 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
And I go. Okay, well, here's the problem with your pitch part one, which is aliens did it already. Everything you pitched is aliens. It's aliens underwater, which is fine. I mean, Sequest DSV was Star Trek underwater, and that show lasted 3 seasons in syndication. So that's cool. But I think where I'm really going to come at your pitch here, my friend, is that your sequel emphasizes the wrong part of underwater. This is actually a movie I reviewed for the website, bloodbrother.com, little shout out, bloodbrotherfilmreview.com, sorry, that's important, at blogspot.com. Fuck, I'm wasting my time on this. Sorry. It is bloodbrothersfilmreviews.blogspot.com. Regardless, the main point for me here was that this movie was one of the best, most intense, most unbelievably jaw-dropping disaster movies I had ever seen before they went and ruined everything with the monsters. I am a huge, huge Lovecraft fan and a fan of Lovecraftian fiction, but having a giant humanoid underwater creature with some tentacles on his face is not a Lovecraftian story. That's not the point. Like, the point is that it is so far above and beyond human experience that, it is madness to even gaze upon one of these things, whereas the movie just kind of uses it as a monster, which is fine in a monster movie. However, all this monster stuff is preceded by 60 minutes of an unbelievably tense, unbelievably intense underwater disaster thriller. This movie is basically Jaws 3. That's the one with the sea lab, right?
Yes.
Where everything's collapsing in and they have to escape, but it's so much deeper underwater than that. Like, it's not even safe to ascend. It's not even safe to be outside in a suit. They have these giant ass space suits. These are the interesting parts of this movie. This does set up something of a little underwater monster society, and I do acknowledge the definite possibility of trying to capitalize on that. But I mean, at what point are you just making another Cloverfield? At what point are you just making another Godzilla? I know you're a really big fan of kaiju, and boy, I certainly love to see Hatchet Face smashing and bashing San Francisco as much as the next guy, Dagger Face. Boy, I'm wasting time on this again. But it doesn't change the fact that I don't think that was even Underwater's most interesting part, and I certainly don't think it's enough to franchise off of. So, uh, ladies and gentlemen of the deer producing quality, I must say, um, boo this man. Boo this man. And that is my time. Well, still had 15 seconds, but
I'll take it. Well, I'll just take your 15 seconds, and I want to make an argument to what you're saying. And maybe it's because in my pitch, I'm not being very clear. Because at the end of Underwater, we are introduced to Cthulhu, right? Hopefully I'm saying that right. I've been reading H.P. Lovecraft my entire life, and I'm not sure I've ever heard his name said out loud a whole lot. So, Cthulhu. But at the end of Underwater, Cthulhu is tentatively destroyed in a sacrifice by Kristen Stewart's character when she launches the, the self-destruct sequence on the entire giant drilling mining facility.
right.
My pitch for this is less like Aliens. And I'm not saying that doing an Aliens version of Underwater 2 is a bad idea, because we all know that Aliens did it and did it really well. So not
Granted.
original, sure, but if strong execution makes it good. I mean, nobody thought you could follow up Alien. And just like Aliens and Alien, you just change it, right? If you can't beat it at its own game, do something different. That's regardless. What I want to pitch is that you actually don't make it an underwater thriller, you make it a science film. And you have like a group of scientists that go down to study like some of these creatures. Not even just Cthulhu. Cthulhu's dead at this point. Maybe. Question mark. Like one of those old 50s movies. The end? Question mark.
At the same time, like, who's coming back to who's gonna believe him? Who's gonna believe him to the point they send millions and millions of dollars? It's just kind of a silly premise. And feel free to roll your further pitch into a final argument
Okay.
closing.
All
And
right.
you have 120 seconds, my friend. Go.
All right. So my final statement is that you can be really creative with what you're given in Underwater. You're absolutely right. You cannot match the breakneck pace and disaster film aspect of Underwater. I think that is going to be exclusive to that. But if you give it to the creative hands, you can. Make it a science film, make it an underwater. You ask who's going to send people down there. You have this giant mining corporation that built multiple mines, one of them which is abandoned down there. You know what I mean? Like they've got money, and maybe they're like, "Oh, we have all this evidence that we're keeping hidden, which is in the credits of it that everything was covered up." That maybe they're the ones that want to make money off of this, and maybe a biological discovery of some sort. So sending people down there, I just think you can have a lot of creative fun with it. You don't have to go kaiju. You can just go straight horror. Make it like Leviathan. Like, I fucking love Leviathan. The Thing underwater could actually fit that really well. So I think just being really creative with how you do it, you could create an entire world. Maybe it's not even underwater. Maybe it's like one of the things that was eating the guy in the chest gets brought to the surface. What happens then? Like, there's so many interesting unanswered questions about this film that you could explore that I definitely think it at least deserves a chance to be franchised. And that's what I've got.
Boy, keep leaving it with 30 seconds.
Yeah, you know what?
It's all good. Your arrogance will be your undoing.
Yeah, you know what? So yours by saying arrogance. You're being arrogant. Dick.
And go. So it's an interesting idea, and I do kind of see the angle you're talking about, sending down a science team and maybe, someone gets bit and more people, whatever, or maybe this thing comes to the surface and we finally get the Alien 3 we're meant to have, which is aliens on Earth. Because I'm going to keep comparing this movie to Alien. The first movie is Alien. It's Alien. It's Alien during a disaster movie. And it's fine. It's fine. I gave this movie a good review. I'm not going to backpedal and just like pretend I did not like this movie. But I certainly didn't think it was sequelable material. I think this was just fine as a one and done. The thing about doing a sequel in the vein of Leviathan or The Thing is we have Leviathan and The Thing. It was an era, and it's underwater horror is not an era I would mind seeing come back. But again, this was one of those movies where I was just so disappointed because it really, really looked like it was going to be a standout in one way, and then it backpedals into this kind of generic monster horror movie in a way that I think it got the success it deserved. It didn't completely fail at the box office. It certainly underperformed. But, I mean, it made its money back. It was one of Fox's last goes before the Disney acquisition fully came in. And I think it was adequate swan song for that company, especially at that era of its life. So, again, let's just say no to Underwater. And that is my time.
I just want to point out before we wrap this up that I'm at least glad you didn't give it a stupid title like Two Under Two Water. I would have died. I would have been like, "Oh nope, you win." Yeah, I can't beat that.
Underwater 2, Submerged.
Yeah, The Mariner. And then it'll. Honest to God, the greatest thing you could do with a franchise like this is do Underwater, Underwater 2, and then somehow make it into Waterworld. So Waterworld is secretly an early sequel to Underwater.
Well, we may be hearing that Waterworld thing again on this segment someday.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. All right. Well, all right, guys. It's up to you now. I have made my points about franchising Underwater. Sean has certainly made his very stupid points about not franchising Underwater. So you guys are welcome to vote. Please let us know. Check us out on all of the social medias. You can find us on Twitter at nffpod, which is the handle that we use. You can find us on Facebook at No Franchise Fatigue. Facebook.com/No Franchise Fatigue. Find us there. You can also let us know, Sean, where can they email you to tell you their votes?
nffpod.sean SEAN at gmail.com. My name is a 4-letter word.
Yeah, sure is. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. You guys are gonna ultimately tell us if I get the money to make this movie or not. So let us know what your choice is. Don't forget to check out our back catalog. You can check us out at anchor.fm. You should have heard the ad at the beginning of this episode for them. They're fantastic. So go check them out. You can check us out at anchor.fm, No Franchise Fatigue, or wherever you hear your podcasts. Please rate, review, and subscribe for us. Share us with your friends if you like what you're hearing. Check out what we have. We have our mothership, which is No Franchise Fatigue, where we talk about cinematic franchises. We also have our episodes on the good, the bad, the weird, the wild, where we analyze a cinematic figure for their filmography. And then, of course, we have this new series. So we are now weekly, which is awesome. So check us out every Monday. I think it's Monday. Are we doing Monday now? I feel like we're doing Monday. So check us out every Monday.
Still Mondays, unless I fell asleep and did it on Tuesday instead.
Okay, that happens. Sometimes that happens. Welcome to quarantine. So, I've slept for 3 days. I don't even know who I am anymore. That's how it goes. But thank you all for listening. Definitely go check us out. And if you have any questions, please vote. We want to hear what you have to say. And as we all like to say underwater,
And a glove to you too.
ha!